Greetings, goddesses. How are you doing? Let's talk about this full moon eclipse in Virgo. Hey, greetings. How are you all? I'm Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, your sister friend. And I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess centered lifestyle. And I want to talk about this full moon in Virgo. Wow. Eclipse season 2026 spring edition has kicked off and it's pretty wild. So, yeah, let's talk about that. I have the astrology that I want to go over with you, and I have done a few oracle readings also. So, thank you all for being here, and let's just go on ahead and jump right in. All righty. So, we have gotten into retrograde season. This is at the beginning of 2026. 2025 was an exceedingly pivotal year. 2026 is one, and I think most of 2027 we'll see is pivotal also. But for sure, 25 and 26, there's a lot happening, and I'm saying that because we're already starting like this. I mean, 2026 has had such strong astrology. And today, at the day that I'm recording, this is March 2nd. Okay. So this eclipse season, I think, is an opportunity to help us to begin to understand the new world that we're living in, the new way we are going to be showing up in the world. So we already had the new moon eclipse in Aquarius, which is shifting us, starting to shift into a whole new eclipse cycle. So we're in Virgo Pisces for the most part, but we're starting to shift into Leo and Aquarius. All right. So we already had the new moon part of this eclipse. So now we're having the full moon part. There's always going to be a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. So here we have the lunar eclipse happening in Virgo. And so this is going to be March 3rd, 6:38 a.m. Eastern time, and it's at 12 degrees of Virgo. Now, when we begin to think about Virgo, we want to think about all the things that Virgo represents. And it's things like habits and hold one second. I want to just So it's things like habits and lifestyle. It Virgo has to do with exercising and what you're eating and how you're eating. It's an earth sign. And so that's all about healing, like using natural modalities to heal. Virgo is also extremely disciplined. And so, Virgo is here to help us to step more into our discipline. The kicker is that the part of the eclipse that this is happening in is called the south node. And so the south node of the moon is all about purging, releasing, letting things go. All right. And so let me just go there real quick. Some of this is about what is it that you need to release and let go of that is no longer serving you in terms of your habits, in terms of your lifestyle, what you're eating. When it comes to your health and wellness, what is it that needs to be released and let go of? Because the south node, you have to detach, you have to a large extent, there's this energy of surrender in the south node. And so that is the thing that Virgo is all about. I haven't released this video, but I made a video where I talk about why I think we have seen the United States, like this country that's been able to hold it together, just feel like everything is just coming a loose. Virgo has to do with systems and habits, and it makes things run efficiently. And so what's happening is all those things are leaving, even some of the ones that we think are good. It's like everything is getting dissolved. Virgo is an energy that has to do with the government. It's connected to government. And so it's the same for us. It's like all the things that we've had in place that have, help us to run our lives, the systems or the lack of systems, everything is just melting away. And it's hard to even hold on to any of it because that's the mission. Like I said, you have to just sort of surrender. And so the question that I have for you is, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your well-being, what is it that you need to surrender? What's no longer serving you? What is not helping you day to day? What can you do new? What can you do differently? There are some who don't have enough systems, and this will feel difficult for you because what is going to be highlighted, because it is a full moon, is all the ways that you are not you're not in balance, you're out of balance, those kinds of things. Um Now, another part of this moon is Pisces. Okay? So, in order to have a Virgo full moon, excuse me, the sun has to be in Pisces. All right? So, you can see there's a lot of planets over here in Pisces. Pisces is all about addictions, and it's to a certain degree, it's like all the things that are in our subconscious mind and the way that we sabotage ourselves. So there's something here, if you have addictive, issues going on, addiction issues going on, all of this, you can begin to dissolve it, and the solution will be brought to you about how to take care of this. Okay. Okay. So other things that um, Virgo are connected to. Now, it's connected to place of work and job. So some people may be finding that they're going to lose their job. Other people will be finding that because it's Mercury retrograde, that job is coming back to them, perhaps. Um, Maybe it's not about losing a job, but you'll be changing jobs. I even think for some people, if you haven't had a job, you may secure a job during this retrograde. Because the other thing that's a part of this retrograde is Capricorn. It's an astrology technique. So just trust me, it has to do with it being at the 12th degree. It has Capricorn there. And so, for some people, you may be finding a job. Maybe it's in a corporation or a governmental body, something like that. Um, Earth signs, Virgo and Capricorn being a part of this, they can help you manifest some stuff. This moon can literally help you to manifest some things regarding workplace and career. Now, another thing might be you have a team, and this moon is going to reveal something to you about your team. Maybe lack of efficiency, lack of systems. Maybe there's some goals that you all have had and you haven't achieved them yet. And this moon is like really highlighting the fact that, hey, you haven't achieved these goals. Um, but in the end, an eclipse is here to help get you in alignment with your destiny. One of the things that I like to say about eclipses is that they will either help you to have what is called a course correction, or it will bring amplification of aligned action. And so if you have a team and the team is off, this moon is here to help course correct you. If your team is doing great, then it could feel like an amplification of aligned action. But because it's the south node of the moon, it's not a hustle. It's more of we took our time, we really cared about what we were doing. There was like this deeper meaning, this deeper purpose of what we're here to do. Okay. Because the south node is not about striving. It's very spiritual. And it's more of like, you know what? We're being led by, this higher purpose. We're being guided by the great divine. And so, um, yeah, it will feel like the soul of the business, the soul of the corporation, the organization. It is something about the soul of it when you're aligned with this moon. Things are just working in your favor, and it doesn't feel like you have to be out there hustling, doing all these, tricks and stuff like that. So always see the challenges and the challenges of a South Node very is positive because it's here to align you. Okay, so other things that Virgo has to do with. We talked about health, we talked about workplace. This is a great moon to look at your health and make some decisions about. Maybe the moon is bringing that to your attention. What is it that you want to do in order to get yourself in a more healthy place? Um, you can detox. There's, maybe some foods that you want to integrate that are more beneficial for your body. Maybe you go through, do some type of cleansing. Now, let me tell you, one of the best things you could do with Virgo energy is fast. Virgos are known for being able to go long periods of time without eating. And so, in your own way, intermittent fasting is a very big deal right now. It's, as I see it, very healthy. So, even if it's just you're going to go a more extended period of time than you usually do, that is great. It's also about to-do lists. Virgo is about to-do lists. So this full moon, maybe it's just going to make your to-do list go away, or there's something that perhaps is going to be revealed to you about your to-do list. It's because this Capricorn is a part of it. There's some plan. But also, let me just say this. There's also Sagittarius is a part of this 12 degrees, okay? Of Virgo. And so the way I interpret it is, I think this full moon can help you to have a better understanding of the vision, because Virgo is very exacting. It gives a very it has meticulous eyesight. It's a problem solver energy. So it has the ability to see the good and the bad in anything. And it can be very critical, but it's because it wants to improve things. That's something else with this moon. You can improve something with it. Okay. Um, and so you can problem solve, and it's very exacting. And so I believe that a vision, either one that you had or one that is going to be revealed to you in this moon, will be shown. You'll also get a plan or an idea of a plan because of that Capricorn. And then Virgo gives you all the steps that you need to do. It has, step by step by step. This is how we will make this vision happen. And in that regard, I really love this moon. That was something that came to me as I was preparing, where I was like, okay, so we can get a vision, a plan, and all the to-do steps. All right. But maybe again, let's just be cautious around, are we doing too much uh with these to-do lists? Maybe something needs to be released. Now, Virgo is also about clutter and order, and it wants things to be like everything is going to have its place. All right. So, very important there to declutter. Maybe this moon is kind of showing you like the path to decluttering, those kinds of things. The last little bit that I want to share about Virgo is the inner critic. And you have to get that inner critic to turn into an inner coach. You can't let that inner Virgo tear you up. And some people may be finding with this full moon, you're really seeing how that inner critic, and we don't want to dog the sign of Virgo because Virgo helps everybody be better. But we do need to quell that inner critic. And maybe you need to have a stern talking with that inner critic and let her know, hey, you can't be talking to me like that. You can support me, you can coach me. If you have concerns, we can talk about it, but don't be so critical of me. that I don't even wanna do anything. So maybe for some of you, you're really having to have you're seeing this reality check around, "Wow, my inner critic is out of control, and I am gonna have to find a way to get myself to a point where that voice is not the prominent one that's in my head all the time." And, there's any other there's a lot of ways that we can go about doing that. Okay, so we have Virgo, Capricorn, Sagittarius is a part of this moon. Again, this is the south node of the moon. It's the harder part in the not the United States, but in the West, we don't actually do well with this part of the nodes because there's no striving. That you're asked to surrender and to a certain degree to just be. Like if for the Virgo risings, this has been a hard year because we started this eclipse last year. Really, we started at the end of 24. The first eclipse I think was in Pisces in the fall of 24. But last year, this time there was an eclipse in Virgo. We have one this year. And if you may not believe it, but there will be an eclipse in Virgo, a South Node eclipse in Virgo next year. This has been a rough year for the Virgos, okay? Also Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces. This may feel rough because the Virgo is a part of y'all's modality. Now, the one thing I want y'all to know is this full moon can absolutely help you um, improve something because Virgo, the modality of Virgo is all about um it's fluid. It's all about helping you to take something that's already there and make it better. My top advice for this is it's just important for you to open yourself to see what is actually coming to you during this time. Go outside, be out in Mother Earth. This is an Earth planet. Look at the moon. If you can see it, doesn't matter if you can see it or not. Pay attention to your life and look at what's coming up right now. Now, you can go back as far as a month because eclipses begin to take effect a month before, and this eclipse energy will last 6 months out. And then we're going to pick up some new eclipse energy. But essentially, this is a part of a 18-year cycle that started 9 years ago. So right around 2016, 2015, 2016 is when we were experiencing these eclipses. All right. So this is like a part of what got started. And so we still got another, about 8, 9 years to go. Okay. So let's see here. What else do I want to say about this moon? Okay. So, in my opinion, full moons can be very stressful. I think some people will feel extremely emotional. Um, a full moon is intense because it has the hardest transit that we can experience, which is the opposition. The opposition is, it has the energy of pressure, and it's also asking you to weigh some things. Okay. Um, and yeah, weigh like you got to look at this versus that, right? So a lot of people may feel very, very emotional, even though Virgo a lot of times isn't the most emotional, type of sign, but we have all those planets in Pisces, Mars, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus. And essentially, they're all opposing, is what we call it, that moon. And so I think, this can feel a little bit challenging. It almost can feel like we're out in the ocean. There can be a lot of energy around confusion. But the way I see this is sometimes we need to kind of be thrown off what we're doing. It's called a pattern interrupt. Sometimes we need that pattern interrupt. And what ends up happening is if we don't change what we're doing, then the subconscious mind is going to continue to just it's like on a railroad track where there's nothing that can make it go in a new direction. It's just moving in one direction step by step, or it's just rolling along, rolling along, rolling along. And eclipses come through and create a pattern interrupt. And this particular pattern interrupt, I think, is largely this energy of like going within yourself, having a pattern interrupt within yourself. And it's kind of like, look at your life. Like, is this the life you want to live? Or what needs to change about your life? What needs to change on the inside of you? What is no longer serving you on the inside? It's interesting because one of the cards that I pulled is the forgiveness card. And so it makes me think some of us need to do some forgiveness during this full moon. When we release that unforgiveness, it's essentially clearing space. It doesn't mean that what the other person did was right. It just means that your energy is no longer tied up in that in the memory of that experience and whatever else that might be there. So it's all about releasing, clearing, cleansing, purifying, purging what's in the subconscious mind. Because something else I want you to really be thinking about with this moon is, what do you need? A lot of us don't actually allow ourselves to really think about, well, this is what I actually need. And this moon is going to be really looking at, yeah, no, maybe this is what we say we want. Some of us may not even be asking any questions. We're just living our lives, right? We may not be in touch with this is what just came to my mind. How many times have you or you've heard someone say, I didn't even know I needed that. I didn't realize I was that tired. I really needed that nap. That's what I'm talking about. So many of us don't realize because we're just living our day. We're just going by day by day by day. But see, this Virgo is just kind of like, we're not doing that right now. Right now, your day by day is not going to serve you. It needs to change in some kind of way. And see, Pisces want you to rest. They want you to relax. They want you to take it easy. Mercury, the ruler of this moon, is in Pisces. It's like, hey, y'all, let's chill. Let's take a bath. Let's go to sleep. Maybe that's what this Virgo season is, or this Virgo full moon is all about. It's like Virgo is a workaholic sign. And maybe this is all about like, it's not saying that you don't have to work hard or you don't have to have discipline, but what needs to be, this is what my productivity coach says: put your play and your rest on your calendar before you put any business activities there. Schedule in that rest, schedule in that play. And the business is supposed to be scheduled around it, right? I know a lot of people are busy parents and we don't even think about it. I remember being a mom and it was just kind of like go, 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 right? Well, at some point, yeah, I needed to schedule time to just do nothing and tell my kids, you got this. This is a little aside, but I've been listening to this book called Stolen Focus. And it talks about how kids don't actually get an opportunity to grow up. Mama don't need to be fixing you food all the time. When you get old enough, mama, daddy, put the little snacks, down there, and kids, fix your snacks. When they get old enough to start prepping food and cooking it, you know? It's kind of like, "Hey, kiddos, let me know when you get started. Mama's paying attention," to make sure there's no smoke coming up. But I started my kids out early. Like, y'all gotta learn how to fend for yourselves. It's important. We need our children to be doing more for themselves, and it frees us up as parents. And I know that can feel difficult because it feels like we just need to, be a good parent. I need to just be there for my kid all the time, but that's not how it's always been in human history, and it's not necessarily good for their development. And so in order for us to get more rest, maybe part of that Virgo moon is showing, no, my kids can do some stuff for themselves. Let them get up and go fix their own snacks, and who cares if a mess gets made? Because guess what? They're gonna help clean it up. Um, so yeah, I just think that we need more rest. Now, this full moon actually could be bringing back some themes for you. It's Mercury retrograde is ideas. So it could be bringing back some ideas around health and well-being, or, how you're running your day-to-day life or your business or your office, wherever you're working, and you forgot about it. And now you're going to return to it. Um, there is this energy, double energy of surrender, because this full moon is the south node. And then we have all those planets in Pisces along with Mercury being there. And so it's a little bit of an energy of, um, um, how much can you, or some a miracle coming to your way. Woo, receiving a miracle, opening yourself to receive a blessing of some sort. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So the other thing that I will say that I really love about this moon is that Jupiter is interacting with this moon. Now, Jupiter is still retrograde. So again, it's like a blessing returns. Jupiter is wisdom. So maybe it's some wisdom that you forgot, and this wisdom is going to come back to you, or it's expert advice or something like that will come back to you. Jupiter wants to bring a blessing. It wants to um, gift something to you. And it's in Cancer, which is a sign that Jupiter is extremely blessed in. It's called exalted. So I believe that a lot of people, and again, think a month before up to 6 months out, will receive some sort of blessing. Now, it could be a little bit of it could be like a blessing from the ancestors, because that's Cancer. Maybe it's some ancestral wisdom, or you inherit something from the ancestors. The other thing about this moon is very the veil is very thin, and so you may be hearing from the ancestors, dreaming about the ancestors, but also intuition is heightened with this moon. Um but yeah, I just think that this could bring the energy of abundance also to you. And it's just the position of Jupiter as it's interacting with all of those planets. Um, I do believe this moon is going to play out for sure over 6 months, because we got a lot happening with this eclipse. Um, so yeah, open yourself to receive um something is going to manifest in your favor. Something is going to manifest. And by the same token, like, I'm not trying to, oh, you know what? I think I'm right. I don't want to take this down. I'm looking at the reading I did. Look at the card. One of the cards that I pulled is the Fruition card. So I believe we're going to manifest something. This will be an abundant moon. I do believe that. And by the same token, I don't want to make it like, you think that there's not the challenges. It's the challenges here too. It is an eclipse, a lunar eclipse with the south node in it. And so, oh, here's something else. With a lunar eclipse with Virgo and with Pisces, a sacrifice is required. A sacrifice is required. And so, what are you going to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up? And why do we make a sacrifice? We make a sacrifice because, to a certain degree, we have to be willing to be detached. And when we do that, it puts us in a posture of receptivity, but also it creates space so that we can receive. But there's something about making a sacrifice, because the sacrifice isn't like, if I had to make a sacrifice of this piece of paper, Okay. I mean, it has a nice little message. It was one of my, I'll call it my prayer cards that I had written for somebody. Mm, but if I had to sacrifice this piece of paper, eh. But if I had to sacrifice today these glasses, I would be shaking in my boots. I'm like, I just bought these glasses. And then, like, I gotta go get some new ones because these are my newest prescription, right? I might start shaking in my boots. Or let me tell you, more than those glasses, forget those glasses. If I had to sacrifice this, someone said, give up the Oracle deck, the Mythical Goddess Tarot Oracle deck today. That is the sacrifice you must make. I'd be like, can I have a moment alone? Can I have a moment alone? That's a sacrifice. It creates a shift. You're willing to make a change. And when you make that sacrifice and you feel it, ooh, it hurts a little bit. That's letting the universe know this person is serious. She is serious. And it's no judgment because sometimes the sacrifice might have to be something that's not as great. It's like, oh, can I just start? This one does kind of hurt a little bit. I'm just going, let me just breathe through this first one and let me build my way up to this one. That's fair. But we got to be willing to sacrifice something. If you are tired, what are you willing to sacrifice, if possible? Because I know some people out there are having to work very hard just to make ends meet. I get that, right? But I'll tell you what, something that I might would sacrifice if I had to work two jobs and I just didn't have a lot of time on my hands. Maybe something I would sacrifice would be I'm gonna make a sacrifice of prayer. I'm gonna make sure I'm praying every day that the great divine, the great mother will help me to understand, see the next step where I don't have to work as much and I can get more rest. Or the great mother will provide. I'll miss out on money, but some kind of way the money will come back to me and I got some extra sleep. There's an, you know, any number of ways. The sacrifice doesn't have to be anything great and grand. It just needs to be something where you feel that shift happening inside of you. And so with the south node of the eclipse, there's always a sacrifice that will be made because something will be released, purged, and let go. It doesn't matter if it's Virgo. That's the south node of the eclipse. All right. So last little thing, since I've already done the first one for the oracle reading, forgiveness. Who needs to be forgiven? And is it that you need to forgive yourself? There's been so many times where I was most angry with me and it was creating me problems. I wasn't treating myself well. Then the fruition. Fruition, look, the little African lady carrying the basket on her head. So something will come to fruition. And so we hold our hands open in a posture to receive. This is called a mudra. So you could do a mudra where you just hold your hands up and I am ready to receive. I am ready to receive. And then the last little bit from the Mythical Goddess Tarot deck. This is the third time that I have pulled this card. I'm pretty sure I pulled it this past weekend in my soul alchemy circle. And yeah, it's been 3 or 4 times that I pulled this card. So for some people, Pisces is illusion. Pisces is illusion. But maybe this full moon is going to help you to see through the illusion. Though for some people, I'm just not going to lie, baby. I think the we may feel like there's a cloud around us right now and we don't feel clear and we kind of don't know fact from fiction. But this is the type of energy of surrender and accepting that cloudy sometimes is needed for us to actually see. Because sometimes when we take away the actual physical vision, the third eye will open up more, the sixth chakra and that inner vision. will open up and you can see things more clearly from an intuitive place. All right. But are you making a mountain out of a molehill? Is there anyone out there that that relates to? Because that is a lot of what this is about. It's kind of like, hey, you know, yeah, is it really that big of a deal? And so maybe something like that is coming up for you during this full moon. Now, I'm also going to share a reading from my Green Witch Oracle deck. And the first card I pulled actually was the Salt card. I thought this was really interesting. So I love this deck because it is very earthy. And hold on, y'all don't have to wait. I'm recording. Okay. So before I say that, I do have on green for a reason. Green is a color I connect to Virgo. It's a very earthy color. I can't remember if I said before, go outside, y'all. Go outside. But yeah, you can wear green, earthy colors during this moon. I love using the colors as a part of astrology. Okay, so I love this card. It is the Salt card, and it has to do with protection and banishing negativity. Salt is essential to life. This mineral is so precious that it has been used as currency at times in history when its collection was labor intensive and time consuming. In magic, it is an all purpose component used to create barriers to protect you as a purifying ingredient in various blessing or holy waters and as a cleansing implement that removes unwanted energy from magical tools or spaces. So, wow. And of course, this is very Virgo like, it's all about cleansing and purifying. But this one is also going to protect too. The salt card reminds you that you have an easy means to dispel negativity and protect yourself. You don't have to struggle. Salt is your partner in self defense. Draw boundaries and keep yourself guarded against negativity. Remember to keep the energy surrounding you as clean as possible. Y'all, I just pull the cards randomly. This could not be more of a Virgo card. That's why I say, look at this deck. Isn't that pretty? I love this deck. It is my Virgo deck. I love Virgo energy so much. So that is something that you can do from, start this practice and with this full moon, and then you want to go on ahead and take it into the rest of the year for you. Okay. I'm gonna go on ahead and do autumn next because I like the last card a lot, but I think this was the third card that I pulled, but I'm gonna do it as the second card. Now, I will say, I think it's so interesting that this is autumn because Virgo is an autumn sign. It's right before we switch fully into fall, but when we get into Virgo season, we start feeling that fall vibe. So I just think that's interesting. So, autumn has to do with bounty and balance. Autumn is a time, I'm going to read this very slowly. Autumn is a time to slow down. Now, didn't I just say that that's part of what we need to do right now? Yes. The high energy of summer's expansion calms and turns to a slower rhythm. There is space for acknowledgement and gratitude as the intense production of the previous season yields a crop. The autumn equinox is a time of balance when the hours of daylight and night are equal. And it's so interesting because we're so close to that with the spring equinox upon us. The autumn card reminds you that balance is important, whether it means balancing work with appreciation for the harvest or balancing intake and output of energy. I believe that we need to be thinking about that with this full moon. Don't overtax yourself. Remember to refuel in times of hard work. I want my credit. I said that. I just said that before I even read this card. I didn't even know what this card said. So questions. How have you been successful when it comes to balancing your work and personal life? I'll wait. You can just tell me. Go on ahead and type it in. How successful have you been when it comes to balancing your work and personal life? Go ahead, tell me. Look, as I write down my lack of success with that, so I needed this. Lastly, if not, can you strike a better balance? Okay. That's all it wants you to do is just strike a better balance. Okay. So, last card, which I just snatched out. Oh, so I did this one because, yeah, I think this is epic for this full moon. This is the lavender card, and it has to do with tranquility, kindness, and self care. Lavender is a popular green witch herb often associated with peace, tranquility, rest, and relaxation. And its stress relieving properties make it the perfect herb to use in various self care applications, such as in a bath or essential oil. Take a moment to consider whether you've been kind enough to yourself lately. Now, didn't I say Virgo, which loves us and wants us to be perfect, can be our inner critic? And we need to tell it, stop it. Don't talk to me like that. And this is what Lavender is saying. Hey girl, when your inner critic is just writing you, come on over here. Hang out with me, Lavender. We'll tone her down. We'll get her to go to sleep. Okay. The lavender card is a great reminder to take stock of how you treat yourself. Remember that kindness comes in many forms. You may have been critical of yourself or your body lately. Maybe you've been driving yourself too hard without eating or sleeping properly. Take a moment for yourself to restore your equilibrium. This is a great time to re examine your life to see what changes you could make to facilitate less stress in general. So, what area of your life needs kindness right now? Okay. So, whew, last little bit. All right, Queen. So, let's take a deep breath. Long, slow, deep breath out. Just taking in everything that I've shared with you. We know we have salt and we have lavender that we can be working with. Always a full moon, you want to have some candles, but maybe you're going to burn some lavender essential oil, take a lavender salt bath. Ooh, that would be good. Just do a lot of self care practices as a part of your spiritual work in the Goddess Body Mind Spirit community and the Goddess Centered Lifestyle. Self care is ritual work as I see it. So, doing a lot of that and, put that salt down. Maybe go buy some extra salt from the grocery store and pour it around your house. If you feel like you need protection with you as go day by day, get a little container, put that salt in there and carry it around, with you. Just carry it in your bag, your purse, whatever it is that you have. Um, the other thing is I'll tell y'all something that I like to do. So I will create a little space. And if I feel like I need protection from something or somebody, this little like a little area in my room, maybe on my altar. Um, I'll literally put something down that represents me, and then I'll put salt around it because I don't want to put salt on my floor here in my office. So I guess I can remove this for now. So I don't want to put salt all on the floor. Now maybe I put it on the edge of the room, but I'm not trying to put salt and have salt here on the floor, right? That's why I said it would be good if you put it on the outside. But when I'm dealing with somebody who is on my last nerve, and I'm like, "You're gonna back up and get away from me." Number one, there's this energy out of the African traditions that I'm a part of. It's the warrior energy. It's like Mars. It's called Ogun and Herakahuti. And I'll say, remove this person from me as far as the east is from the west. If they even think about me, have them just their mind just like my mind, I am not on their mind. Now, I don't never wish nothing bad on them. But what I will say is you're gonna get back from me. You're not gonna be hanging around me. You're not gonna be bugging me anymore. So that's number one. If there's somebody who is bugging you, and I'm saying this because I know some people who are gonna watch this, who got some folks that's on your nerves. This full moon is a great moon to be like, all right, spirit, I'm putting it in your hands. This person is driving me. I don't like what they're doing. We're gonna say it that way. So, number one, whatever name you want to use, I use Ogun. Whatever warrior name you want to use, remove this person from me as far as the east is from the west. If they even think about may my memory, the thought of my name, leave their mind. So you invoke that. And then just create some little scenario. Maybe you're in the kitchen and you have a little saucer. See, this is like green witch work. This is what this is all about. All right. It's just we gonna use the magic that's here at hand. Right. I'm in the kitchen. I say, because I'm just making this up as I go. I just do whatever I want to. I don't, maybe I look at what other people do, but sometimes I'm just like, what would be the best way? If I know salt is going to be getting people, is going to be putting a hedge of protection around me. So what can I do to keep this energy right and tight? And so maybe I'm going to go in the kitchen and you can try this. Just take a saucer and inside of that, in the middle of that, you can put something that represents you. Maybe you write your name on a piece of paper. So let's say your name is Anne. So you write Anne on a piece of paper, little tiny piece that can fit right there in the middle of that saucer. And then I want you to take some salt and put it around the saucer, around that name, where that little piece of paper or whatever that thing is that represents you is surrounded in that salt. And you say to that plate, that salt, and that piece of paper, that thing that represents you, this is me being protected at all times. And whoever is messing with me is done. You can't even touch me. All right. And you're doing this because you kind of like, hey, universe, this is what I need you to be focused on right here. All right. I need you to be, this is what I'm asking protection, keeping me, like I always love saying, a hedge of protection is all around me. And I'm going to walk my life knowing that ain't nobody going to get hurt, but they're going to leave me alone. I love that with the salt, man. Me and the salt. Yeah. So salt, lavender, candles, whatever else you want to do, please by all means go outside. Okay. So let's go through the signs. We'll start with Aries. Okay. So for Aries, this is happening in your sixth house. So the sixth house is definitely, this moon is asking you to consider things around work, um, lifestyle. Are you being efficient, systematic? It's asking you just to look at like how you are operating day to day, be it personal or in your work life, working on your health, your well being. There may be topics coming up for some Aries around pets, as well as another theme for you could be charitable giving. Maybe some of the Aries are actually thinking like, okay, maybe you need to donate or maybe you need to show up and give in some kind of way. Um, but it's the sixth house. It could be something that's giving to you all, but I think something is shifting for the Virgos around work, workplace, how you make money. Um, Maybe not so much profession as vocation. Something is really shifting for you all, and you'll be going in a new direction. Last little bit, I never thought about it like this, but I bet Aries can be a little bit of a workaholic. So maybe that's something that you are going to be asked to sacrifice. Working too much. Okay, Taurus. So this is happening in your fifth house. So Taurus is all about, or excuse me, the fifth house is about, it's like a fun house. It's all like, are you having fun? And maybe a lot of times when I see the south node of the eclipse in the fifth house, you are hiding whatever makes you special and unique, and whatever that is, or whatever's covering it, maybe you're not hiding it. Something is covering it. The south node will drain it away. So I think that this is a moon where some of the Tauruses will be feeling more like, let me look at my gifts and talents and how I can use them in the world, and feeling more, whatever is beating up your confidence and keeping you from doing that, you're being asked to, well, you'll feel it leaving you. And so this full moon can be about that theme. It is about children, so it could be bringing up topics around the children in your life and something changing in that regard. Also, it's about dating and sex. And so for some of the Tauruses, maybe you've been dating and you're kind of like, I don't want to date anymore, or how I've been dating, I don't want to date like that. Some Tauruses, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you may find, not this is not necessarily the house of marriage partner, but people like somebody who you have, you're dating. You may feel like, hey, this is leaving, especially with Mercury retrograde, or for some with the Mercury retrograde, they may come back, maybe short lived, but maybe some of your booze will come back, Taurus. This is a house of good fortune. And so maybe there's some good fortune that will come your way, but it'll feel miraculous. Sort of like, not, maybe it is of your own doing, but it's something you plant, a seed maybe you planted a long time ago, it comes back to you now, or just whatever this thing is, you're just like, wow, I feel so blessed. Some good fortune can come this way. Um, I will say I would wait on taking risks and wait until after like March 20th, when Mercury is direct and we are moving into a new season with less of all this Pisces energy being highlighted. So yeah, just maybe don't take any risks for the next 3 weeks, Taurus. Okay, next is Gemini, and as you can see, Gemini, this is happening in your 4th house. So you're one of the signs where this can create a lot of change for, and so, yeah, I just encourage you to, open yourself up to some change that's coming to you around home and family. You could be a very emotional sign during this time. You can feel also very nostalgic, like, thinking about your family, thinking about your childhood. Maybe you get really into, or something is revealed to you around your ancestors. You could be somebody who is like, oh, I dreamt about my grandmama or my granddad last night. Um, Yeah, it's also about the, emotions, and so some of the Geminis may need some type of emotional purge, clearing, cleansing, healing. The 6th house has to do with self-care, so you may be working on that. I will say, I always forget to say, this actually has to do with cars. This is one of the houses where we could be thinking about a car. So, something may be coming up with the car, being highlighted. Maybe some of the Geminis have wanted a car and you didn't have one, and now you're going to get one, or just something being highlighted about the car. Not for everybody, just for some people. But it changes you, who you are foundationally, and that is something that I think is happening for Geminis because of where these eclipses are happening. Who you've known yourself to be, maybe you're gonna know more of it, or you believed what other people said about you, but now it's sort of like, "No, who am I really? I need to really figure this out for myself." So, questions about who you are, the foundation of who you are, like the things that you've stood on and believed, those kinds of things are shifting and changing, so that you can clear away the ones that you don't need anymore and put something new. Maybe it's sort of like ancestral values. Maybe something is shifting. It's like, I'm going to keep some of my ancestral values, and then the other ones I'm going to release and let go. Some of y'all may be finding yourself moving and, improving the home. Maybe you've already done all of the home improvements, and this is a full moon where you're kind of like, wow, I really like everything that we've done here, right? Okay, next is Cancer. Cancer, this is happening in your third house. So, um, now the third house is in a way associated with lifestyle, day to day routines. And maybe some of the Cancerians are kind of finding like some of their day to day routines are disrupted. They're having to do new things. Something is changing. You know, the to and the fro, and the here and the there, all the places that you go, like on your way to work or on your way home. Something that may have disrupted that. And now you're having some new routines come up for you. Okay. New, maybe even it's sort of like, all I do is just go to work and come home. Like, what's going on over in the next county? And let's go on the weekend to, this event over somewhere, nearby. Maybe some of the Cancerians are like, I just want to take a few short trips. Like, I'm always at home because Cancerians are homebodies. So it's like, no, I want to go. Let's go get out. Let's get a place on the weekend on the lake or something. So that could be coming up, traveling and that kind of thing can be coming up for, some of the Cancerians. Now, it is a sign that is about slowing down. So some of the Cancerians may be like, "Hey, I've been traveling a lot and now it's time for me to slow down." But travel is highlighted with this. And you may find yourself going back to places that, it's kind of like, "Oh, I remember we went this place. I think I want to go back there." Okay? You do have Jupiter in your sign, Cancer. So just take advantage of this time. Open yourself up to a blessing. You could be extremely intuitive at this time. Now, it's also helping you in the mind. I think you could get some amazing ideas with this full moon. So pay attention to all of those downloads and write them down. If you have been feeling mentally unwell, I think that this eclipse can help you to see maybe the source of it, or what is it that you need to do to get this mind feeling better, Cancer? Um, it does have to do with communication skills. A You are one of the signs that probably needs to be really careful about what's going on with communication, just because Mercury is retrograde right now and it rules communication. It rules your house of communication. So dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure people understand you, make sure you understand other people. But sometimes confusion will happen because we need to see, how to better communicate with one another. It does have to do with teaching and learning. So maybe this moon is showing you what you're going to teach or what you need to learn. It will highlight relationships such as siblings, coworkers, neighbors. Something could be standing out for you with those relationship peers, peer relationships, so friends and that kind of thing. Great for social media marketing and business. All of these topics. If you have a question about what to do, some of that is going to be answered for you during this full moon. And but the full moon is about celebrating something. So maybe you've achieved something with all of this, Cancer. Third house has a lot going on. All of what I described won't apply, but there we go. That's a quick run through. Okay, next is Leo. So Leo, this is happening in your second house. The second house has to do with money, self-worth, value. So maybe you're going to be getting some insights around money and your personal finances with this. Also, your worth and your value. Something will be coming through to you about, yeah, you're worthy, you're valuable, your personal possessions. Maybe there's something you've wanted and you hadn't secured it yet, and this moon will bring it to you. Could be something that you thought you weren't going to get, but then it's like, oh no, it turns out I am going to get this. Um, so yeah, definitely something around the worth and the value, how you're feeling about yourself in that regard, but it's also about your values. What is it that you really value? Because whatever you value, that's what you're going to spend your time and your money on. And so you just want to see if your values lined up with the things that you said that you want. And if not, adopt the values that a person who has what you want, what they adopt those values. I always like to talk about exercise. For me, I'm not talking about anybody else. When I am struggling to work out, I just watch my husband because he truly values working out, and he's gonna work out no matter what. And I just study him, and I think to myself, somebody who values working out, what are they thinking? Oh, let me lay my clothes out. And, I have a specific time that I'm going to work out when I wake up in the morning. It's a part of my routine, it's because this person values it. So it's like, okay, let me get those same values. That's the beauty about values. We can shift our values and make whatever we need to be the most valued thing that. I do think that it's going to be bringing up some topic for you, Leo, around what do you really value? And is this really what you want to value, or do you need to make a shift in values? Okay, so this is also about personal possessions, food, food and self-care. This second house has to do with both of those. So there's some topic that may be coming up about how Leos are eating, or it could be something around, hey, do you need to take better care of yourself? Like, this is a major theme for this moon. So is there something that you need to be taking care of yourself? So that is Leo. So, the sign of the full moon. Virgo, how are you, gorgeous Virgo? I always have to love on my Virgos because Virgos, they don't get it. They have a bad reputation. Okay. Let me just take a quick sip. Virgos have a very bad reputation. Let me put this down. Okay. I was going to set it on my desk, but keep all of the liquid away from your technology. That's water, by the way, y'all. I don't drink anything but water for the most part. Okay. So, anywho, so yeah, Virgos. Oh my gosh, Virgos. It's been rough for a lot of the Virgos. Whoo! Is this South Node? I've been telling the Virgos, y'all, look, this is rough. I went through it as a Scorpio rising, and it really and truly will, it wrings you out. It's trying to clear, cleanse, purify everything, right? And Virgos work so hard. So to be asked to slow down or to have your day-to-day routines, thrown off, Virgo's not comfortable with that. Let me not say I don't like it, but you're not comfortable. So, something about your identity is leaving, and you're letting that go because there's some new identity that you're going to pick up and assume, Virgo. So, yeah, it's that's definitely something that will be highlighted for you during this full moon. And then also, Virgo, it's something about your health and well-being. The South Node, let me tell y'all something. I don't play with the South Node, especially if you're a Virgo rising. I don't play with this South Node because I have seen people get some serious health issues with that South Node going through the first house. But even if it's your sun, your moon, or some other planet in Virgo, I'm just telling you, you gotta be vigilant. And if you have a birthday right now, which would be a Pisces, mm, if you have a moon, a sun, any planet that is, I'd say within, I'm gonna say 5 degrees. So either 7 or 17. So from 7 to 17 of Pisces or Virgo, I'm gonna need you to really be vigilant about your health and well-being. That would be me. So I'm glad I said that. So yeah. Now the other thing about this South Node being in your first house, Virgo, it's like there's something on the inside that just it's like the bag lady, Erica Badu. She's talking about the bag lady. You can't keep carrying all these bags around. You've got to put them down. And so that's what this South Node full moon in Virgo is all about. And guess what? You get to experience this all again next year. You got it last year, you're having it this year, 2027. Virgo, I don't know why y'all served up these eclipses like this because I'm like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. So bag lady, drop whatever you're being asked to release and let go of. because this eclipse is going to take your life in a whole new direction. But it's like, hey, before we can even do that, we've got to let go of the old life so that you can step into the new life. All right. I hope that resonates with you, Virgo. Okay. Next is Libra. Now, Libra, this is happening in your 12th house. And right now, you are a sign that's in an integration period because you had the South Node in your sign, prior to the Virgos. So last year, you were dealing with this, year before, this was you. South Node in Libra. And now, it's like you have this new landscape and the inner part of you is working to integrate it and become you're more of like a clean slate so that you can become something new. Okay. So that's what this 12th house is about, is that the most inner part of you. It is the subconscious mind. I encourage all the Libras out there to be using hypnotherapy, mindfulness, NLP, doing inner healing work, maybe like tapping and energy medicine, just all the work on your meridian system or your let's see here. Yeah, just the chakras, those kinds of things. The energy body doing, healing work. Maybe some of y'all actually Libra need to go see a doctor. Maybe some of y'all need to do that. But it's working with the healers and just doing all this inner work. The change must come from the inside out. If you do not go within, then you're going to go without. I know it's a little bit of a cliche, but I find this one to be true for me. And so I'm just sharing that with you all. If it resonates, if not, take it and toss it. I'm tired of the spiritual world and the self-help world screwing everything up and making people feel like failures because whatever was said didn't work for them. So just take what works for you and leave the rest, queens. Um, Very creative. Now, you're another sign that may feel very emotional during this time. Intuition may be on fleek. Libra, y'all be up here. Libras be all in their hands. But this eclipse can help you to get out of your head and just feel so open and intuitive and just hearing from the spirits. Okay. Creativity, very important. Get some sleep. I think that would be one of the be a part of the nap ministry as a part of your ritual work, Libra. Nap ministry. Okay, go to sleep. Sleep as much as you can. That's the best ritual a Libra can do. Everyone's jealous of you right now. We all wish we had that. In one of the readings, it was talking about, are you kind to yourself? Hey, have some compassion for yourself, Libra. Okay. When was the last time you just gave yourself a nice big hug, Libra? All right. Okay. So let's see here. Libra, Scorpio. Scorpio, this is happening in your 11th house. So the 11th house is a lucky house. So open yourself up to receiving some good luck and some good fortune. This is a house that has to do with goals. I can imagine some of the Scorpios are looking at all the goals that you had and you're doing this. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm getting some new goals. Now, you may find that you've achieved some of your goals with this moon, Scorpio. But yeah, some of the Scorpios are just like, I'm scrapping everything and we're just going to clean the slate and we're going to figure out what the goals are going to be. We thought we knew, but we didn't. Um, it's also about making progress. So maybe you're going to be looking at that. Maybe for some of the Scorpios, it's time to test some stuff. Like, let's be curious. The 12th house is a sciencey house. Let's come up with some theories, create some tests, and just test some things out. Maybe you're like my husband, who's a Scorpio, and he tests out camping gear. So for some of the Scorpios, it's like, you know what? I love testing out this or that, taste tester or whatever it is. And I'm just gonna go do some testing of some stuff. Maybe you've been working on a recipe, and it's like, let me just I can't get it. Let me just keep working on it, right? Um, this is a techie house, so some of the Scorpios may be looking at you and technology. Now, for some of the Scorpios, you may be like, "Hey, I'm loosening up on some of this technology." Um, but maybe it's just you didn't have a good relationship. Scorpio, you are a little obsessive, okay? So it's kind of like, hey, y- other people may not have to break up with technology like you because you were doing too much. You were obsessed with it. And now Scorpio is like, hey, let me pull back a little bit. Not gonna put it down forever, but I'm gonna pull back. But what it's gonna do is to give you this better understanding of how to work with technology. Maybe you'll even find some new technology to work with. Maybe it's something around your, broadcasting a message, YouTube, podcast, those kinds of things. Something is coming to you around that. So interesting. I'm a Scorpio rising. And my best friend, one of my best friends, is going to be on, we're going to be doing her interview on the day of the full moon and for my podcast. And she's a Virgo. You cannot make these things up. Wow. You can't make these things up. Okay, let's see here. This is the house of being gameful. Now, you may not have felt the most gameful right now, Scorpio. This moon could be revealing where you are gameful, but the path is being cleared for you to be more gameful. Okay, especially from your career, maybe from the stock market. I don't have anything to do with the stock market, so I don't know. But the 11th house is connected to the stock market. This is a house that has to do with the collective. It has to do with friends groups, vibe tribes, being with people who are doing things that are like you. So those things can be highlighted also. Okay, next is Sagittarius. So, Sag, hey, you're one of those signs where this is a very pivotal house. And this is happening in the house of career. So, big changes around career. And, actually, one of my friends, I saw this happen for her last year. She retired. She's a Sagittarius rising, Virgo, South Node in her 10th house. She retired, you know? Something shifting and changing about career, or maybe you're just less attached, maybe you've been working hard and you're just at a point now where you're just like, you know what, I'm just showing up. I'm not worried about nothing. Um, if a career change happens, it's just because I'm gonna believe something better is coming. It'll be either better for your lifestyle or more money or whatever. But yeah, that topic's coming up, and also what you're known for. So for some of the Sagittariuses, whatever people have known you for, is you're just with this kind of energy. You're like, hey, that ain't who I am anymore. I'm different from that. And so this is who I am now. Or maybe you don't even know what you're going to be known for, but you just know I'm not going to be known for that. For some of the Sagittariuses, you could be finding yourself getting married or divorced. Now I'm hoping nobody is getting married during Mercury retrograde. Y'all, come on. Did you watch my wait a minute? Maybe I didn't put the Mercury retrograde class out, but I think I said it in one of my videos, in my weekly updates. Come on. Nobody should be getting married right now. Okay. Come on, y'all. No, don't do it. Now, this would be good for divorce. This is the kind of energy of divorce. Even though Mercury retrograde, maybe we want to wait to make big moves around that after Mercury retrograde. This is just for entertainment purposes only. Y'all, I'm gonna have to say it that way because I don't want anybody to be saying, hey, this is what Tyra said, because I don't know what your chart looks like. See, I have to look at your chart to really know what's gonna be working best in your favor. But hey, you know what's best for you. Sometimes a Mercury retrograde is the best time to get a divorce, right? Um, let's see here. Okay, so let's move on. We have Capricorn. This is happening in your ninth house. So another lucky house, Capricorn. You know what, Capricorn? You need some good luck. You need some good fortune. All right. Blessings abound when we have things happening. But Cap, you are the type of sign that, how do I like to say this? Capricorns have a lot of capacity. Capricorns can make things happen, but this is not that kind of rodeo show. This is the kind of energy where it's like, you know what? God's got you. And you're going to only take the steps that God, the great divine, the great mother ask you to take. All right. So good fortune coming your way. It'll feel miraculous. All right. Now, for Capricorn, the way you see the world could be changing. You used to think it looked one way, but now the world is that world view is you're releasing and letting it go. This South Node, this type of eclipse is very, very spiritual. And the ninth house is spiritual. So it could be this, something is awakening you within you, regarding spirituality, something around foreign travel. Maybe some of the Capricorns are just like, no, I don't want to do a bunch of foreign travel right now. But it's an eclipse. So foreign travel is one of the themes. So maybe things have been blocking you from doing foreign travel, and you're like, let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's go travel. Um, this also has to do with book publishing and publicity. Okay. Now, regarding the book publishing, to a certain degree, it's sort of like, what are the blocks to publishing the book? That's how I'm going to say it. Maybe you don't have good habits or something, and it's like, in order to get the book published, these are the things that you're going to have to do. Like, my friend is an author, a published author, and she's like, hey, you really just need to create that book proposal. Well, what's getting in your way of the book proposal? All right. Publicity, you know, to a certain degree, this can dissolve a good reputation, but by the same token, it could be doing something to try to clean the slate around your reputation so that you can have a new reputation, or anything that, yeah, just when it comes to publicity, like, to me, this is more of like, God's gonna cover me. God's gonna cloak anything that is not working for me or whatever. It's the South Node is not an easy placement. Okay. This is a house that is around good fortune, good luck. It's good for like when you want publicity, but this is not the energy where it's just going to be shining. It might be more of like a quiet way of doing publicity. Now, I do like that, where you're not just out there in the limelight. It's more of a very subtle way of doing it, a low key way of doing it, because there's no striving. This ninth house can make you strive. There's no striving with this Capricorn. But I think that you're gonna love this full moon because it's an earth sign. It's activating this house of hope and optimism. I think of all the signs, you're the ones that most need to forgive, because this ninth house has to do with forgiveness. But initially, maybe you don't have hope, and it's going to bring hope. You can feel a little challenged in terms of hope and optimism, but ultimately, you will get there with the South Node being in the. I'm trying to think when we had. Oh, I think I had the South Node in the I was just trying to remember, do I remember having the South Node in the 12th house? But the other thing that I think it could do is to help your belief system become more expansive. All right. So, yeah, it's not a bad placement. It's a really good placement. It's just very, very spiritual, and you just got to put yourself in the hands of the great divine. I have not been changing these. Crap. Okay, Aquarius. So I've just been looking over here. And when I'm looking at the camera, I'm not actually looking at my screen. Um, mm, okay. So anywho, Aquarius, this is happening in your eighth house. So again, as one of the air signs, this could be a very emotional time. This is all about healing and deep self-care. And that's the invitation. All of us have been talking about that, but for you especially, it's time to take care of yourself. You may find some change and transformation is happening. Now, this is also about money. It could have to do with shared resources, the money of your partner, like a spouse or business partner, taxes, inheritance, and debt. Now, I tell you what, if you have some debt and you want to let go of that debt, this is a good position because the South Node wants to release, purge, and let go. It also has to do with grants, scholarships, and fellowships. So maybe these manifest. But the other piece for you is it could be any blocks to you getting them begins to dissolve. So I love that. It's a house where you can do a lot of research. So if the Aquariuses need to do some type of research, you can do that. It's a challenging house. It's a very challenging house. Um, if you've been having any type of psychological challenges, then this eclipse can help you to maybe get that help to, get yourself healed up. It can create issues. Yeah, y'all know I don't sell like I'm not trying to be toxically positive. It can make you feel like you need to go get some mental help and do that. Don't play around, Aquarius. If you feeling mentally off, is a reason. This eclipse might be bringing that up for you, and you need to get some support. You need to talk to your therapist or something like that. Okay. But yeah, deep healing now is also very spiritual. So you may find yourself like really doing a deep dive in some aspect of your spiritual studies. Maybe you're going to be doing some ancient studying of, ancient spirituality. One other thing I was going to say. It can absolutely heighten your intuition. Oh, and it can have you focused on taboo topics. Some of the Aquariuses may have found themselves looking at things like when I have my 8th house lit up last year, I just was all into looking at stuff about cults and whew, I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Okay. Last but not least, so sorry. I'll put some timestamps on here for you all. Pisces. Hi, Pisces. How are you? Always so patient. So, this is happening in your 7th house, one of those houses where, you know, it can create a lot of shifts and changes, especially in terms of relationships. Relationships topics may be heightened for Pisces. Maybe something with your partner, your business partner, um, just one-to-one relationships may be coming up. Could have something to do with coaching. Maybe if you're a coach, there's some topics coming up for you around that. Or if you've been getting coached by somebody, it can bring some topics up like maybe returning back to what your coach was teaching you or um yeah, just something maybe you're completing coaching in some way. It's just time for you to move on and apply all the things that you learned with your coach. It's about balance. That was one of the things that came out with the oracle readings. Are you balanced? Are you not balanced? Legal affairs, contracts, agreements absolutely could be topics that are coming up for Pisces. And the 7th house is how you refine something. So, does something need to be refined? A lot of these topics could be something that you are revisiting, Pisces. These may not necessarily be new topics. And there is something there that's sort of like, yeah, there may be something where it's just kind of like, I can't be in control of this thing. I need to do the Pisces thing, release, let go, and trust the great divine, right? But definitely sparking some type of new beginnings for you, Pisces. And whatever this new beginning is, it involves you and other people. And I just wonder, is there something that you need to let go of when it comes to other people? Maybe you care too much about what they think about you and you're just letting it go. Or maybe You just don't have a whole bunch of people, or there's a certain relationships where you're like, this just doesn't serve me. I'm gonna let it go. All right. So, or let go of being out of balance. Pisces, I love you. I'm a Pisces, but we can be some of the most out of balance people on the face of the planet. Releasing and letting go of all of that. All right. So, big changes on the horizon for you also, Pisces. Okay, that's what I have for you all. Let me remove this. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that this has been helpful. And I wish you a beautiful full moon in Virgo, a full moon eclipse in Virgo. I wish you a beautiful month. And yeah, I will connect with you all soon. All right, peace and love.